That first kiss isn't just a kiss. For a man, it's like an emotional download, an unexpected moment where so much more than lips are involved. He may act like it's casual, but inside his mind, a quiet analysis is unfolding. He's asking himself, what did I feel in that second? Was it just physical excitement, or did something deeper stir? There's a pause, maybe subtle, where he evaluates the connection. Men are often taught to suppress emotions, but even in that small gesture, feelings flood in. It might come with adrenaline, but it also brings vulnerability. He might not even realize it yet, but that kiss plants questions that he can't easily ignore. Because behind the physical contact, there's a silent, emotional check-in happening. In that moment, what he feels is a type of resonance. It's not about perfection. It's about how your energy felt against his. Did he feel held, wanted, seen? Did you meet him there emotionally, or was it just mechanics? Some women think it's only about technique, but what really matters is presence. Were you really there, or were you in your head? Were you letting go, or just checking boxes? That kiss tells him more about your openness than your words ever could. He senses whether this is someone who connects or someone who protects, because what he's really thinking is, do I feel safe being vulnerable with her? Now, here's the part most people miss. He's also watching himself. He's noticing how he behaved, what he said right before, how he felt when your lips met his. Was he present or trying too hard? Was he relaxed or performing? Did he feel desired, or did he feel like he had to earn the moment too hard? And then there's the aftermath. How do you both react? Do you smile, laugh, look away? Do you lean in again or shift into awkwardness? He's absorbing all of that. He's not just thinking about you. He's evaluating who he is in your presence. The kiss reflects him back to himself, and that reflection matters more than we give it credit for. A man who feels something real in a kiss doesn't always know how to describe it, but he knows it happened. He may not have the emotional vocabulary to name it connection, warmth, compatibility, but he feels it. And that feeling will linger. He might think about it the next morning without understanding why he's still smiling. Or maybe he's confused because it felt too intimate for something so new. And that's the interesting part. He's realizing how fast emotions can creep in. Even when he told himself not to get too serious, that kiss gives him permission to want more, if it felt right. Not just more kisses, but more you. That emotional pull begins here. Men aren't always praised for being intuitive, but they're often more emotionally tuned in than we assume. After the kiss, he's noticing little things you may not even realize you're doing. The tone of your voice, how you looked at him after, whether your walls dropped or came right back up. He's reading that as a signal. Does she trust me even a little? Or was this just physical validation? And most of all, he's wondering if you were present with him, or if he could have been anyone in that moment. That's where emotional data comes in. It's not about perfection. It's about whether you made him feel like himself and not just a placeholder for male attention. There's a question floating in his head. What does this mean for us? And not always in a heavy relationship defining way, but in a subtle shift of perspective. Before the kiss, you were just a possibility. After it, you become a real consideration. That kiss changes how he looks at the rest of the night or the next text he sends. He's gauging whether you're someone who wants depth or just fun, whether you're a partner or a moment. He might not voice it yet, many men don't, but internally, that kiss is a pivot point. It's the moment that either builds momentum or burns out quickly, depending on how emotionally aligned it felt. It's important to know that the way you carry yourself after the kiss is just as loud as the kiss itself. Do you lean into the connection, or do you retreat to protect your heart? Men notice that. If you suddenly change energy, pulling away, downplaying it, or acting too cool. They assume the kiss meant more to them than to you. And that imbalance can lead to second guessing. On the other hand, if you hold your energy steady, warm, open, but grounded, he feels something powerful. That consistency tells him you're emotionally stable, not volatile. That's rare, and in a dating world full of games, it's magnetic. Here's the twist most people don't expect. A man can have a great kiss and still lose interest if there's no emotional weight behind it. If the kiss felt technically right but emotionally empty, he won't chase, at least not in a way that leads to anything meaningful. Because when a man is truly ready for connection, he's looking for something that goes deeper. He wants to feel something he didn't expect. So while sparks are great, what truly makes him come back is the substance behind the spark. That feeling of I didn't just kiss her, I connected with her. That's what changes everything. Think of the first kiss like opening a window, not closing a deal. It's not a reward for the date, it's a moment of alignment. And alignment isn't just chemistry, it's emotional safety, presence, and authenticity. A kiss without those things is forgettable, no matter how good it looked from the outside. But when it's present, honest, and emotionally resonant, it sticks with him. He doesn't just think about what happened, he thinks about how he felt in it. And when a man connects emotionally, even for a second, that moment lives rent-free in his mind. It becomes a reference point. That's powerful. That's why the first kiss isn't just an event. It's a message. It tells him more than you might say with words. It reveals your comfort with intimacy, your openness to connection, and your emotional availability. He may not always analyze it consciously, but something inside him is definitely paying attention. He's wondering, is this someone I want to open up to? And whether he answers yes or no has a lot to do with how safe and real that kiss felt. When you understand that a kiss is emotional data, you stop trying to control the outcome, and you start focusing on the feeling. And that's what creates real connection. After that first kiss, a man isn't just thinking about the chemistry, he's thinking about who he was in that moment. Was he relaxed, confident, and playful, or did he feel like he was trying to impress you the whole time? That moment of intimacy reveals a lot more than just attraction. It shows him whether he feels accepted or judged, whether he can be goofy or has to filter everything. The kiss is almost like a test of emotional freedom. Because when a man kisses someone he truly connects with, it feels like coming home. He's not trying to be someone else, he just is. And that feeling of comfort, that's what makes him come back. Men are often portrayed as creatures of ego and instinct, but what most people don't realize is that they crave psychological safety. After that kiss, he's quietly reflecting on how safe he felt around you, not just physically, but emotionally. Did he feel seen or just observed? Could he be vulnerable, even for a second, or was he still performing? Emotional connection isn't about depth right away. It's about how quickly you can make each other feel real. So after the kiss, he's asking himself, was I me or was I a version of me I thought she'd like? That question lingers longer than the kiss itself. Because men don't fall for perfection, they fall for freedom. There's something profound about being around someone who makes you forget your insecurities. If, after the kiss, he realizes he wasn't checking his reflection in your eyes, that's powerful. It means he was present, not worried about saying the right thing, not trying to prove his worth. Just being, and that's rare. In a world where so many men feel pressure to perform, to be cool, successful, charming, it's disarming to meet someone who makes that pressure melt. After the kiss, that's what he's analyzing deep down. Did I feel like I had to impress her, or did I feel like I could just be? And if the answer is the latter, that's unforgettable. When a man feels like he can breathe around you emotionally and mentally, everything changes. It makes the connection feel effortless. It's not about whether the kiss was electric. It's about whether the moment was genuine. Did it feel light instead of heavy? Was there laughter or just silence and overthinking? Because when men feel emotionally boxed in, they pull away. But when they feel emotionally open, they lean in. That's why the best relationships don't come from trying harder, but from feeling safer. So, after the kiss, he's not calculating strategy. He's reviewing comfort. Did I feel good in that space with her? That's a yes he chases. There's often an unspoken pressure on both sides during a first kiss. She's wondering if he'll still respect her, and he's wondering if he'll still feel wanted. But the real magic is when neither is wondering anything because it just feels right. That kind of kiss, where both people are free to be silly, imperfect, even a little nervous, that's where emotional authenticity lives. And when a man walks away from a kiss feeling like he didn't need to wear a mask, that moment becomes sacred to him. He may not talk about it, but it shifts something inside. He feels lighter, more curious, more drawn to you, not because of how the kiss looked, but how he felt within it. He's also wondering, did I feel emotionally accepted or emotionally managed? Acceptance is when you allow someone to be who they are without fixing them. Management is when someone adjusts themselves or you to fit an image. If he felt like he had to tone down his humor, hide his flaws, or pretend to be cooler than he is, it chips away at connection. But if he felt welcomed in his weirdness, his softness, his imperfections, that's what pulls him closer. That first kiss either reinforces authenticity or highlights a performance, and most men are far more tired of performing than they'll ever admit. There's a subtle difference between chemistry and connection, and men can feel it even if they can't describe it. Chemistry says this is exciting, while connection says this is real. After the kiss, if he felt a little more himself, even in a way he didn't expect, that means everything. It might even catch him off guard. He may start texting differently. He may open up more. He might tell his friends about you not because of the kiss itself, but because of the way he showed up in your presence. When a man feels more authentic around a woman, she stops being a date and starts being a possibility. And that's what changes the narrative. The truth is, men don't often get spaces to be soft. Society tells them to be strong, stoic, detached. But emotional intimacy, especially in a first kiss, offers a brief rebellion from that script. If he finds himself laughing, letting his guard down, even admitting something vulnerable, that moment hits him deeply. Not because it was scripted, but because it was unexpected. If he didn't feel like he had to be on, he'll remember that moment for a long time. That kiss becomes less about lips and more about the liberation he felt inside. That's what makes you unforgettable, not just the attraction, but the access you gave him to his real self. When men ghost, pull away, or go cold after the first kiss, it's rarely just about lack of interest. It's often about emotional dissonance. He might have enjoyed the kiss, but felt like he couldn't be himself around you. Maybe he felt judged. Maybe he felt like a character, not a human. Or maybe the connection was fine, but he felt like he couldn't sustain the version of himself you seemed to want. That's why real attraction isn't about impressing someone. It's about being yourself and giving them space to do the same. If he didn't feel safe being him, he won't chase. But if he did, that's the spark that keeps him invested. There's this quiet hope in every man that he'll meet someone who makes him feel whole, not just wanted. And that first kiss, it's a glimpse into that possibility. He might not have the words for it, but he knows the feeling. It's that moment when he realizes he didn't just kiss someone beautiful. He kissed someone who made him feel right. That sense of alignment, of comfort, of being emotionally at ease, that's what keeps him coming back. Not because he's trying to win you, but because he feels like he found something rare, something real, something that made him feel like himself again. After the first kiss, something subtle happens in a man's mind. He starts calculating the emotional balance. Was I the only one driving this, or did she meet me in the moment? It's not about effort in the traditional sense. It's about reciprocity. He wants to feel like you're not just letting him do all the work, but that you're choosing the moment with him. That you wanted to kiss him, not just allowed it. That your energy said, I'm here with you. Not, I'm letting you in because you earned it. When a man senses that he's the only one investing, he starts to question the emotional math. He wonders if he's chasing a connection or just chasing approval. Men are wired to pursue, but not to beg. There's a difference between being drawn towards someone and feeling like you're constantly trying to win them over. If after that kiss he felt like you were withholding just to create scarcity, it can turn the moment into a transaction. He wants to feel a spark, not play a strategy game. That kiss should feel like a green light, not a test. When he sees that you're emotionally engaged, it activates a different part of him, the part that wants to give, not just take. And that's what he's thinking. Is this woman going to dance with me or make me do all the steps alone? Balance matters, even in attraction. After the kiss, his next move is determined by how emotionally safe and valued he felt. If he felt like you were just checking whether he was good enough, rather than connecting, he'll step back. Not always right away, but something will feel off. When men sense they're being evaluated rather than accepted, they put up emotional armor. He wants to know that you're interested not just in his ability to impress, but in who he is. And that can't be felt through a perfectly timed compliment, it's in your presence. Did you meet him in the kiss or stay distant behind your wall? That difference changes everything for him. There's a sweet spot between being too available and being emotionally distant. Men are drawn to women who value themselves, who have boundaries and standards, but they disconnect when they feel like nothing they do is good enough. After the first kiss, he wants to feel like he's earned your interest, but not like he has to constantly prove himself to keep it. A woman who meets him halfway shows that she respects herself and respects the effort he's made. She doesn't play games, but she doesn't overgive either. That equilibrium is what keeps a man pursuing with integrity, not performance. It's what creates desire and respect at the same time. It's important to understand that men feel energized by healthy challenge, but exhausted by emotional confusion. If he's unsure whether you're genuinely interested or just playing it cool, he starts second guessing. After the kiss, he's reading into your signals, your tone, your eye contact, your body language. He's asking himself, is she into me, or is this just part of the dating routine? And if you send mixed messages, hot one moment, cold the next, it doesn't make him chase harder, it makes him wary. Men will lean in for someone who's consistent, not someone who makes them feel like they're constantly walking on eggshells. There's a misconception that if you pull away, you increase your value. But emotional distance isn't the same as self-respect. A woman who knows her worth doesn't need to pull back to create demand. She simply shows up authentically without overexposing herself or hiding behind a facade. That balance is what a man is craving. After the kiss, he doesn't want to chase you away. He wants to feel invited into something real. If you're too eager, he may question your standards. But if you're too guarded, he questions whether it's even worth trying. The real magic happens when you show that you're open but not chasing. When a man thinks back to that kiss, he's also thinking about what came after. Did you change your energy? Did you act indifferent, as if the kiss didn't matter, trying to seem unbothered? That kind of detachment can make a man feel used, even if unintentionally. He wants to know that the moment meant something to you, too. That you didn't just give the kiss and then switch back into emotional armor. When men sense that kind of sudden withdrawal, they don't see it as mysterious, they see it as rejection. Or worse, manipulation, that makes them retreat emotionally. What makes them stay? Genuine, steady warmth. He's also paying attention to how you receive his effort. If he texts you after and you're cold or vague, he starts to feel that you're playing hard to get rather than being real. Men aren't looking for indifference, they're looking for a spark that's matched. Not mirrored exactly, but met. He wants to feel like his presence matters, not like he's another guy on a list. After the kiss, the impression you leave is one of either openness or obstacle. And if he feels like every interaction is a hoop to jump through, he'll stop jumping. What keeps him trying isn't difficulty. It's connection with a woman who sees him. The healthiest kind of chase isn't one where he's running after someone who's always ahead. It's one where you're walking toward each other. He puts in effort, you meet it, he gets closer, you invite it. That's the rhythm that builds attraction and trust at the same time. When you meet him halfway emotionally, whether that's through your communication, your affection, or your response, it tells him you're both invested. And that tells him this isn't a one-sided performance, it's a co-created experience. That's the moment he starts to think long-term, not just about the next date, but about what it would feel like to build something. Men will chase for validation, but they stay for depth. That first kiss may spark desire, but it's the emotional dynamic that determines whether the fire keeps burning. And what keeps that fire alive isn't distance, it's aligned energy. When he feels like you respect yourself and respect him, he wants to rise to meet that level. He wants to show up better, not because he's being tested, but because he's inspired. That's what he's thinking after the kiss. Is she going to pull me closer or keep me guessing? And if he senses that you're walking beside him emotionally, not running ahead or lagging behind, that's when he truly leans in. After the first kiss, something more than desire gets stirred, something quieter, more internal. It's the beginning of a question that most men don't verbalize, but deeply feel. Can I be safe with her? Not physically safe, but emotionally. That kiss may have been filled with fire, but now he's wondering what would happen if he exposed the soft parts of himself. Could he tell her about his fears, his flaws, the stuff behind the charm? Could he take off the armor without it being used against him later? Most men don't ask this consciously, but they feel it, because every man deep down wants to know that if he opens the door to his heart, someone won't slam it shut. The world rarely gives men permission to be tender. From the time they're young, they're told to toughen up, be strong, show no weakness. But that conditioning doesn't mean they don't want to be vulnerable. It just means they're scared of what happens when they are. So after a kiss, especially a meaningful one, a man starts assessing something deeper. Could she handle the parts of me I hide? Would she listen without judgment? Would she still see me as enough if I wasn't always in control? That kiss might have been playful, exciting, but what it unlocks is this deeper desire to be seen. Not just as a partner, but as a full human. He's thinking about the energy you brought to that moment. Were you present or performative? Did you respond to his affection like someone open or someone guarded? When he kissed you, did he feel tension or trust? The subtleties matter. Your tone, your body language, the way you looked at him afterward. Those little cues speak volumes. If he felt judged or tested in that moment, it plants doubt. But if he felt warmth and acceptance, it signals emotional availability. And that tells him he can move closer, not just physically, but emotionally. Vulnerability doesn't need perfection, it needs safety. It's not that men need you to carry their pain, but they want to know you won't weaponize it. After the kiss, his mind might flash forward. What happens when we argue? Will she bring this up to hurt me? If I tell her something personal, will she respect it or share it with others? These aren't romantic thoughts, but they are real. Trust isn't built by grand gestures, it's built in micro moments. How you respond when he shares something small, how you hold space without trying to fix or analyze. That kiss may be the beginning, but trust deepens in everything that follows it. He's not just looking at how you made him feel. He's wondering what you'll do with that feeling. Sometimes a man has been burned before, opened up only to be rejected or shamed for it. So now, even in a simple moment like a first kiss, he's unconsciously scanning for danger. Will this woman be different? Will she make space for my truth or expect me to wear a mask? He may still carry the memory of someone who said, "You're too sensitive," or "man up," when he needed understanding. So now he's slow to trust, not because he's cold, but because he remembers what it felt like to be laughed at for being real. The first kiss becomes a test of emotional intuition. Does she feel safe? You might think he's pulling away because he's unsure about you, but often he's unsure about how much of himself he can reveal. He's afraid of saying the wrong thing, or worse, revealing a part of his past that makes you see him differently. Maybe it's a mistake, a failure, a time he struggled. Men fear judgment, but even more than that, they fear being misunderstood. And so, when you make him feel like he doesn't have to earn your understanding, he begins to soften. He starts leaning in, not because you're easy, but because you're safe, and for him, that means everything. The truth is, vulnerability isn't just about telling someone your secrets, it's about showing up without the shield. That kiss might have been the first time he let the moment lead instead of strategy. Maybe he didn't think about the next step. Maybe he just felt, and afterward he's asking himself, did I feel accepted in that moment, or was I being evaluated? Because he knows that if you accepted that version of him, you might accept the rest, the messy, complex, evolving parts. That's not something he admits out loud, but it's what keeps him thinking about you after he walks away. Men don't want to be fixed, they want to be felt. After the kiss, if he senses that you're curious about who he is, not just who he appears to be, that creates a rare emotional spark. It tells him he can share more than just the highlights reel. He can talk about the pressure he feels, the uncertainty he hides, the things he doesn't even tell his friends. And if you listen not to respond, but to truly understand, that creates emotional gravity. Suddenly, it's not about the kiss anymore. It's about what the kiss unlocked, the possibility of being known and not rejected. A woman who makes a man feel emotionally safe becomes unforgettable to him, not because she lowers her standards or tries to heal him, but because she sees all of him. She doesn't praise only his strengths, she holds space for his shadows. She doesn't try to change him, but also doesn't enable him to stay stuck. That balance of acceptance and encouragement is what earns trust. After the kiss, he's wondering, is she going to love the real me or just the version that performs well? The more the answer feels like the former, the deeper he's pulled in, not by seduction, but by sincerity. And so, he rewinds that moment in his mind, not just for how it felt, but for what it revealed. In a world that asks him to always be strong, dominant, and unshakable, he's craving a space where he can just be, where he can show up messy and still be wanted, where he can speak his truth and not be punished for it. That kiss, if done right, doesn't just touch his lips. It touches the part of him that's most guarded. And if you meet him there with compassion, curiosity, and calm, you've done something few ever do. You've made him feel like his vulnerability is not only safe, but wanted